Sean, are we calling you midfielder Sean Zawadzki or center back Sean Zawadzki now?
I mean, either one's good with me. Doesn't matter.
What's that been like? Coach Nunzi talked last week that he'd kind of briefed you on that they might go to that at some point in the Colorado game, but you know, it's a bit of a transition, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a little bit of a shock in the moment, but kind of over time, starting to work a little bit more with the center backs, just kind of growing more comfortable in the position. It's kind of made the transition a little bit easier. And kind of having guys like Milos off on the side, just giving me pointers and kind of coaching me through the whole thing too. And then playing next to Steven, who's traditionally the right back too. Now playing the middle is, we're kind of learning together, so it kind of just makes everything a little bit easier.
How do you view this? Like, in all seriousness, I assume you still want to play central midfield, but it's an opportunity to get on the field, play more. Just what's your perspective on not only you playing back there, but kind of that back three we've seen the last game and a half?
I mean, I just think it's the guys, all of us, kind of doing whatever's needed right now in the moment. You know, we have some guys out, but I think guys ready to step in when it's needed, and just kind of getting on the field in any way possible and helping the team is kind of what I think the mentality is of any of the guys.
You mentioned Steven. We were told he was kind of thrust into a bigger leadership role. I know I've seen him talking quite a bit to you out there. Just what has it been like having him next to you and kind of communicating? As you mentioned, you're learning together.
It's been really helpful. And you know, he's been all season where I've in the right side center back role, so he's kind of really helped me through certain aspects of the game. Kind of when to step into certain spaces with the ball, even kind of reading the spacing behind defensively. So just kind of learning from him and what he's done all season up to this point, kind of taking his role for a little bit has been really helpful having him next to me.
Does it make it a little bit easier to transition to that when it is expected that you step forward and kind of do some offensive things that maybe are more what you're accustomed to?
Yeah, for sure. I think the big part is with the ball, you know, I feel really comfortable. It's kind of gives me more time on the ball, face forward, and look at everything in front of me. You know, it's kind of the defensive side of things is where I've really needed a lot of communication from guys around me to help me. And I think with, you know, over time in training and stuff, so I grow more comfortable with that.
I was wondering something similar, just like how similar it is to roles that you've played before. Like, are there, once you started in this spot, did you feel that there were more similarities than maybe you expected?
Yeah, I think for sure. Especially, I mean, with the ball, you know, you have more time than you have as a central midfielder. So I think that's kind of, I mean, nice in my aspect. You kind of see everything. But I think there are a lot more similarities than you would think. And then there are some big differences that I wouldn't expect to be like the role for me as a center midfielder. Now being a center back, I think there's some big differences too as well.
What would you say are maybe one or two of the biggest ones?
I think in particular is kind of, you know, stepping the line in certain aspects. I wanted a center midfielder, you don't always have to step the line and kind of clear the space. I think that's the biggest one that I've seen so far.
What is it like working on that in training? Like, is it exciting? Does it get frustrating? Like, what is it like trying to adapt to some of that stuff?
It's a little bit of both. You know, it's exciting to kind of learn this whole new thing, but it's also frustrating because you want to get it right all the time, and just kind of in that transition, you know, there's going to be some moments where you don't get it right, and just kind of leaning on the other guys and learning from them to kind of help you in the process.
I know as a team, you guys haven't had a lot of road success this season. I know it can be very difficult to win on the road in this league, but the way that you've played as of late, how much of that do you think could translate to going on the road and having to go play somewhere else?
Yeah, you know, on the road we want to play just as if we were home. We want to keep the ball. We want to keep our same style, and I think you know, coming home and getting two big results, I think it kind of gives us a decent amount of momentum heading away now to hopefully continue the success.
And the fact that maybe the schedule's not quite as compressed, does that allow you to work on a couple things? Does that maybe help you, especially as you continue to, you know, learn a different role?
Yeah, I think it's big. You know, you kind of get your legs back under you, and you get to work on the things that you've seen in that congested period. You get to work on those things in training this week and kind of implement that into the game plan, and kind of help guys like me, you know, in this moment to kind of fix some things.
I know none of you are okay with mistakes, but when you have two fullbacks and a central midfielder as a starting three back there, does some of the things that happened against Colorado that led to goals, is that a bit easier to understand just because, look, these guys are doing it for the first time, you included?
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be a little bit easier to understand, but I think kind of how us three kind of view each other and ourselves. I think they're mistakes we want to take out of it completely. I think, like you said, you might expect them. Some people might expect them to happen, but I think we hold it upon ourselves to just kind of be clean all the time and not let the mistakes happen.
Is it easier to learn from those mistakes when you've got an offense that's scoring?
Yeah,
you get 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, you have guys like Christian, Cucho, and Lucas who are on a tear right now, and they're gonna score some goals and give us a little bit of a cushion. Hopefully, we're not conceding goals like we have been, and kind of learning from those. But yeah, it makes it a little bit easier when you have guys like that.
There's a report today that Messi's going to officially join MLS. I wonder what that might be like, or what do you think about something like that?
I mean, I think it's really, really good for the league in general. Have someone who's Messi, well known all over the place. One of, if not the greatest soccer player of all time. And for him to join the league and kind of be competition now, it's just tremendous and kind of something you really look forward to. Circle it on the calendar all the time, and everyone amongst the league will be definitely keen on that game for sure.
He really tests central defenders too.
Yeah, true. Yeah.